ETS2 and ATS have always had a clear way, almost a strategy, to develop their games over the last 10 years. If you go back and really look at how the map of Euro Truck Simulator 2 has grown, you can see it wasn't random, it wasn't chaotic, there was a direction. From the early base map, SCS expanded carefully. Going east, DLC pushed the borders further into Eastern Europe. Then came Scandinavia, sometimes called the Nordic expansion, which extended the experience up north. After that, more regions filled in the gaps. There has always been a visible path, a logic behind it. The map expanded from Western Europe outward in a structured way, and the same thing happened in American Truck Simulator. But recently, something has changed. SCS are not really following a purely linear path anymore, and in this video we are going to understand why. Before we continue, thank you for liking the video and subscribing to the channel. Your support really keeps this content going, and I love seeing how this community keeps growing year after year. Let's be honest, map expansions have kept these games alive. Euro Truck Simulator 2 and American Truck Simulator have survived for over a decade, not just because they are good simulations, but because SCS kept expanding them. New regions bring revenue, they bring new players, they bring attention from different countries. When a country gets added to ETS2, suddenly players from that region feel represented. When a US state is added to ATS, local players feel excited. That connection is powerful. For American Truck Simulator, the expansion strategy has been very clear. SCS started on the West Coast, California, Nevada, Arizona, then they slowly moved east, New Mexico, Oregon, Washington, Utah, Colorado, Wyoming, Montana, Texas. The long-term vision has always felt obvious, coast to coast, the dream of driving from Los Angeles all the way to New York. That is the ultimate goal. And with upcoming DLCs like Illinois and South Dakota, it looks like that eastward journey is continuing step by step. But then something unexpected happened. Instead of continuing straight east, SCS decided to go north. Now, this does not mean they abandoned the eastward expansion. No, they did not. The east is still coming. The coast-to-coast dream is still alive. But for the first time, they opened another path. A path northward, and not just north inside the United States. For the first time, they are going outside the United States. Canada is the new place of interest. British Columbia is currently in development for ATS, and this is where things become really interesting. Normally, one person would think they would finish the entire United States first and then look at another country. That seems logical, right? Complete one project before starting another. But SCS took a strategic approach. They decided to begin developing Canada without finishing the US. First, we need to understand something important. American Truck Simulator is not just about the United States. The name itself does not limit it strictly to the USA. It represents trucking across America as a continent that includes North America and potentially even beyond in the long term. Canada is part of North America. So in a way, this expansion makes perfect sense. From a geographical perspective, adding Canada does not break immersion. In fact, it enhances realism. Real-life trucking companies in the US operate across the border all the time. Freight moves between Washington State and British Columbia daily. Trade between the US and Canada is massive. So crossing the border inside ATS actually feels natural. I like this move because it makes the world feel larger and more authentic. It opens new possibilities for routes, scenery, industries, and logistics chains. Now, let's talk about strategy. Canada uses almost the same trucks as the United States. Brands like Kenworth, International, Freightliner, Peterbilt, they are all common in both countries. That means SCS does not need to negotiate a completely new set of truck licenses just to enter Canada. That makes development smoother. Imagine if they tried to expand into a country with completely different truck manufacturers, different regulations, and different licensing systems. That would slow everything down. With Canada, the transition is easier. The truck roster remains valid. The assets can be adapted. The industries are similar. Logging, mining, ports, agriculture, all familiar to ATS players. Of course, there are still differences. Canada uses the metric system, unlike the US. That introduces small gameplay adjustments. Road signs, speed limits, weight limits. They will reflect kilometers instead of miles. But that challenge is manageable compared to licensing entirely new truck brands. So from a development perspective, it is a smart move. This is the big question. Why not finish the entire United States first? I think the answer comes down to growth and momentum. If SCS only moved east in a straight line, the map would feel predictable. Players would always know what's next. By opening a northern path, they create excitement. They expand the vision of the game beyond one single direction. Also, from a marketing perspective, Canada opens new doors. Canadian players may feel more connected to the game. Media attention inside Canada increases. It broadens the audience. And strategically, while one team continues pushing east with states like Illinois and South Dakota, another team can begin building the Canadian region. This parallel development keeps the content pipeline strong. I would say this is long-term thinking. The landscapes are stunning. Mountains, forests, coastal highways, it fits naturally into the existing map. And visually, you will enjoy it. Imagine hauling cargo through the Canadian Rockies. Imagine driving through Vancouver's port areas. Imagine new logging industries in dense forests. This is good for variety. It also signals something bigger. If Canada is possible, what else is possible in the future? More provinces? Maybe one day even Mexico expansions beyond what we already imagine? The map no longer feels limited. Now let's be clear. The eastward expansion is not cancelled. Illinois and South Dakota are still in development. The path toward the Midwest continues. The coast-to-coast dream remains the ultimate milestone. But now, ATS is no longer just moving in one straight line. It is branching. And I love that. It makes the future less predictable. It keeps the conversation alive. It gives us more to speculate about. From a business perspective, this decision also spreads risk. If development slows in one direction, another can continue. If players in one region lose excitement, another region gains it. Diversifying expansion paths keeps the game dynamic. Map DLCs are the main revenue drivers for these titles. They fund reworks, truck updates, engine upgrades, and long-term support. By expanding into Canada while still moving east, SCS ensures a steady flow of content for years. So why this DLC? Because SCS is thinking long-term. Because American Truck Simulator is bigger than just the United States. Because Canada is geographically logical, strategically smart, and technically easier to integrate than many other regions. Because it opens new markets, new players, and new opportunities. And because after 10 years of structured, mostly linear expansion, it was time to evolve the strategy. The release date for British Columbia has not yet been confirmed. We still have Illinois and South Dakota on the horizon, but the direction is clear. ATS is growing in more than one way now. And honestly, I love seeing this evolution. It shows confidence. It shows ambition. It shows that SCS is not just maintaining the game. They are expanding its vision. The future of ATS feels bigger than ever.